Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Dorex number 2610 L234 in a 15 finish. This is a sliding door combination set, pocket door really, and all that it really is a pair of flush poles along with an edge pole as well. There is lots of paperwork, really more than necessary. This is really simple stuff to make, to prep a door for. There is a link below this video to a document called Template, which, forgive me, that link is called Cut Sheet. So looking at all three of the links that are there, we've got Cut Sheet, starting over. That's just going to give you an overview of the item itself. Handy, it will show you this gizmo, show you the passage, the privacy function. This is obviously the passage function, the pocket door rectangular locks that are there. The reference guide is really handy in no regard other than showing you finishes. And then there's installation instructions and template, which will come with the material itself. Well, let's take a stare at it real quick right after we get into the extended information description. This is a residential auxiliary lock. I would not say that it's an auxiliary lock really at all. So an auxiliary lock would be something used in addition to a locking device. This is just a passage set that you would use on a door, obviously a sliding pocket door, really. The term pocket door means two different things. In this case, it means going into a pocket in a wall. Round type, most certainly going to be considered round. These are the face pulls. Innovative pop-out latch, they say. I would go with that. I've had a customer come to the shop and just didn't like it. Wanted us to do something. Cut this off or something, just wasn't getting the concept of, we worked it with him, but he finally got it at the end. But arrow pointed up, a little upward motion is all you need, up, and then it springs out. So what I'm doing is I'm going like this. Up, down, up, down. Finger goes in, door gets pulled out. Very simple, is really all that it is. This will fit a standard 160 or 161 door prep. That is not accurate at all. A 160 prep means a 2 3/8 back set, and by the time you're reading that language will be gone. A 160 is a 2 3/8 back set with a 1 inch wide, 2 1/4 tall square faceplate. A 161 is 2 3/4 with an 1 1/8 wide faceplate. So that's not accurate at all, and we will amend that to just basically state a modified sentence there to be clear. Mounting hardware included. Yeah, you're going to get wood screws for the edge of the latch bolt. Then they've got machine screws here, and they're putting in two different lengths. That could only mean because they want you to be able to handle 1 3/8 to 1 3/4 door thickness, which that is accurate there. So what you'll do is drill your hole, and your latch bolt will go in. Then your plates will literally mount right through. You're done at that point. Up and down, up and down. The problem with the client who came in and was having trouble with it is because it was really used in a commercial setting in the common area of a country club, and this is meant for residential use, no doubt. I would not put this into the kind of volume that this was being expected to be used in. Let's take off the regular hammer and put on the big hammer. Now let's take a look at the installation instructions. Page 1 is just literally showing you how to attach it. When you are putting the latch bolt in, absolutely be sure to pre-drill the holes for the screw. You don't want to split the style. And this is 2 3/4. That is the edge of the door to the center of that hole is 2 3/4. That's what we're talking about, 2 3/4. That's 1 inch wide. That's 2 1/4 tall. Does have radiused corners. That's a 1/4 inch radius that's there. That's left as a result of the machining process, which is because the router is a 1/2 inch diameter bit, and what they're doing is when they're routing the edge of the door, they're not going back and squaring the corners. A very typical thing that you'll find in residential wood door and wood frame manufacturers. Then the rest of the prep will be just 2 1/8 inch holes, which we'll get into here. So all of page 1 of the installation instructions are really just showing you the assembly. The point being is if you already have a hole drilled in your door, you're obviously making sure that it's 2 3/4 back sets. And if it's 2 3/8, then you'll order the 2 3/8 version. But you do have to be mindful that if you have a square corner prep in an existing door, that this is going to come with a radius. That's the only way it comes. These installation instructions are obviously good as well for the privacy set as well, which is not this video, but the 2642 is the privacy. Now, getting into page 2 of the installation instructions really calls out the machining of the material. And if you're looking at that document, you have a full-size template that's here that you can fold this across the edge of the door, and depending on 1 3/8 or 1 3/4, when you fold that back, that's where you will mark the center line of the latch preparation that's over here. Now, if you're doing a new installation, I would certainly recommend that you take an audit of the rest of the doors and install the height of the lock commensurate with the rest, the rest of the doors. You don't want to have, we did a job one time for a government building, and my shop made a couple of, we had a long hallway, like of 30 doors, and they had 28 doors, and they were 7'10" or 7'8" in height, and they were short 2 doors, so they literally took 8-foot doors that were prepped and lopped off the bottom of everything. And while that all worked, they took 4 inch off everything. Didn't hit the bottom hinge. Wasn't really a problem. However, you look down that hallway and all your locks are real good and straight until you get to that one, and then so you can see that. Now in a home, it's probably not going to matter, but it is going to matter. So put it at a good height. 3 foot from the floor is pretty typical for a home installation. Could be a little lower, could be a little higher, but just take a audit of that stuff. So when you're doing the preparation, if you're not using a router, you can use a 1/2 inch drill bit and drill 4 holes, and that'll leave you that nice radiused corner, and then you can just chisel the rest of it straight as best you can. Forgive me, that's all wrong. That's the strike template. That is not included with a passage. Very much forgive me. That's for the strike, not included. What's going to be really important to know about that is they are giving you indeed that 36 inch center line from the bottom of the door. For the privacy, and they're not telling us what the rework, what the adjustment is for center line. And because I don't have a privacy function available to me, I'm going to leave that as a mystery for this video, because I don't really know what that would be without having the hardware in my hand. There is no strike involved here, but what I was saying earlier is certainly valid. You could drill 4 holes, 2 1/4, a 1/4 inch down, 1/4 inch up, etc., etc. A router would be the good way to go with that, if you can. You've got the height. You're going to put a 2 1/8 inch hole at either 2 3/4 or 2 3/8 back set. Then you're going to go through these steps, which are very simple. The bottom line is drilling a 2 1/8 inch hole through the door. I like to personally use a hole saw for a variety of reasons. I don't like multi-spur bits. Hole saws are cheap. They're reliable. They're predictable. They don't tear the veneer out. You can run a hole saw into the face of the door, spin it backwards a little bit to score the outside of the veneer before you push in. Multi-spur bits with those aggressive, long and raked teeth. I've seen that tear veneer out. You want to be a little more careful, is what I'm trying to say. Hole saws are nice because you can drill halfway through, come to the other side, and you'll know immediately when you pull the core of the door out how straight you've drilled. That's a nice reason to have a hole saw. I like them because they're inexpensive and they get the job done. And I don't like to tear the veneer out at all. So I would first mark my hole to the center, prepare to drill my 2 1/8. I would mark my door on both sides. Okay, drill my 2 1/8 halfway through here, halfway through here. If your door is beveled, which it should not be for this application, your door should be square edge. If you do, for some reason, have a beveled door, you're going to want to mitigate that before drilling anything, because you'll find that you're going to have a problem with a beveled edge door, obviously coming in contact with the cased opening frame. If you've got a beveled door, you're going to want to square that off first. The point is, when you have a square edge door where you mark 2 3/8 or 2 3/4 on one side, and on the other side of the door, both sides of the door, it'll be in the same position. You'll go to the center of your door thickness when you're going to mark for your latch bolt. I use a 1-inch fly bit. For this application, I would probably be using a 15/16 or even a 7/8, because that's 1 inch wide. I don't want to have my hole marginally visible. Okay, you don't need, this is going to be 7/8 is all you'll need for that, I'm sure of it. Looking to see if they tell us. They say to drill a 1-inch hole. You don't need a 1-inch hole. I give you permission not to use a 1-inch hole. My caliper's telling me that, yeah, 15/16 is where you'd want to be. If you have a 1-inch hole, 1-inch fly bit, just be sure to drill it really straight, because you don't want to have any of that hole not being covered up by the faceplate. Okay, so you've got your 2 1/8 inch holes. You're going to mark the edge. I would always drill my 2 1/8 inch hole. I would come and drill my 1-inch hole. And then I would do my 1-inch wide, 2 1/4 tall prep to the edge of the door. And then at that point, you are literally done. With the work. Looking at the rest of the steps, A, mark the hole. B, drill the faceplate, the through hole, the crossbore, 2 1/8 inch. Step D refers to a privacy set with a strike plate. Step E is the 1-inch hole on the edge of the door. F is to trace and then chisel. Should be about 5/32 of an inch deep. Strike plate prep if necessary. Chisel and install. Absolutely be careful to pre-drill everything. You don't want to be installing this for a customer and then you literally split the wood. I did that once and I still feel, 25 years ago, and I still feel bad about it. US 15 is the finish. It's available in different finishes if I haven't already mentioned that. Let's take a look at those different finishes. Dorex 2610. And again, the 2642 is the privacy version of this. Finishes, antique bronze of all things. Antique bronze, 11P is the color antique bronze. 15 is satin nickel. 15A is antique nickel. 26 is polished chrome. 26D is satin chrome. 3 is polished brass. So you've got 6 different finishes there that you'd be able to have. The company Dorex is a Canadian company that I don't work with. I work with their American office that is on the East Coast. Very nice people. They get a stock truck in basically once a week for this material. Works out really well all the time. sell these reasonably often. They do come up. I do have customers walk in with them and wonder about the latch bolt and things of that nature. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Dorex products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Dorex 2610 and a US 15 satin nickel finish, a pocket door passage set, 2 3/4 back set for 1 3/8 or 1 3/4 thick door, or any other Dorex product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.